Identity, the quest for Israel's future. Emanuel Shahaf, hello to you.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom, the author of the book, gives lectures coming back from Indonesia. First of all, the first memory that you would like to take from this visit in Indonesia towards your viewer?
I met people I knew from a long time ago. Among them, one of the daughters of the former President Wahid. And it was interesting. It was interesting to see how much changed and how much didn't change, because Indonesia is a country that doesn't change very much over time. There's some ingrained resistance to change because there's a lot of social cohesion in Indonesia, cohesion we unfortunately do not have here in Israel. And that kind of cohesion makes change difficult because everybody is worried that any kind of change will do something to the cohesion, so they'd rather not change.
So you're talking about around 300 million.
300 million people who are connected, tightly connected, tightly enough in order to make it difficult to really get change going. One
scene of these connections that you can share, that you were witnessing in your visit around Jakarta?
We took part in meetings of a group of women who are part of a program to encourage women's business initiatives. And it was fascinating to see how they all work together to conduct their meeting, to take money and microfinancing, take money and microfinancing, return money, and cover each other if they don't, if one of them doesn't have the money to pay. Really giving a good example of this social cohesion I was talking about.
You know, talking about this cohesion, and here in our area, we're witnessing those days that we are creating this video report, also in Jenin, one of the head of the Islamic Jihad that is being captured by forces of the IDF. Your reflection regarding that?
It's an ongoing war that is going on. Actually, we're fighting, and we're in a war that is continuing, and which actually the public is kept out of the picture, and only here and there, only when something bigger happens, like taking prisoner. Taking captive a high-ranking person in one of the terror organizations, and there's fear that there will be a resulting terror threat. The public is made aware of it. Okay, so this war is going on for years already, it ups and downs, but the public isn't aware of it, and as we have seen recently in polls. The public is blissfully unconcerned with settling the conflict with the Palestinians. Only 7% of the population think that's an issue that should be an issue in the elections.
But personal security?
Personal security, to a much larger extent, I think 21%, if I remember correctly. And for some reason, and there is a lot of manipulation going on by the media, by the politicians, they don't connect the two. They don't connect personal security and security of the country with settling the conflict, although they obviously are intimately connected with each other and should be. So there's this option to be in denial, and the media are helping that. Unfortunately.
Talking about the media and the politicians, Mansour Abbas,
Yes.
You had the opportunity after Indonesia to meet him as part of a seminar, a lecture that he was giving, and what is your main reflection regarding him?
He's first of all, he's an amazing politician.
Why?
Very modest, very emotionally connected. He's aware of his shortcomings. He saw this entry into the coalition as a learning process, and he has to draw conclusions for himself and also for the members of his party. Very honest and pleasant person to listen to. and answers questions completely. It doesn't try to avoid answering difficult questions.
For example?
No, I asked him about the conflict, and he wasn't evasive. He's just very moderate. His responses are not very controversial in any way. He's careful, moderate, and pleasant. So he's a force to reckon with. He's an obvious partner for any coalition that will form the government. I don't know whether Netanyahu will consider him, but any
consider him again.
Consider him again. But any Jewish or coalition should consider him as a partner, because he obviously makes a very important contribution.
What did he say regarding your questions about the conflict?
Well, he said that obviously, I asked him to what extent the conflict impacts on the Israel-Arab society, and he said it obviously has an impact. And I asked him follow-up questions, what he thinks about the two-state solution, which happens to go down the drain now, and he clearly said that other things will have to be considered, or there has to be a lot of flexibility, and he made it clear that he doesn't have any problem with flexibility. So it was obvious from what he said that his mind is not made up. Okay, he's a flexible person. He knows that this is a difficult situation. We have to work together on this, and he's obviously a good partner to work together.
Even to think about the federation, the one-state solution, any other possibilities.
He didn't mention it, obviously.
Still part of the coalition.
Yes, he didn't. But no, it's obvious that in my eyes that he would be a perfect partner for the federation, for example. Okay, if that ever will be relevant in the near future.
We're talking about the one-state and the two-state and the relevancy of this solution nowadays. In Haaretz newspaper, Nehemiah Strassner,
yes,
one of the top articles.
Vicious attack against the one-state solution, and I think
he would have said a responsible attack.
He really doesn't want it. Obviously, I think the article.
What is his main point?
His main point is that there will be endless strife between the two national groups if there will not be a two-state solution, and I think he's being short-sighted. I think he gives his fear more. It's more the result of this fear of what might happen, and we can of course say that it's no way that will happen. But there's plenty of reason to believe that one-state scenarios will also work under certain circumstances. As we live now in Israel with a 20% Muslim minority, which is actually the biggest Muslim minority in a Western democracy anywhere, and we're doing not badly. I mean, obviously it could be better, but it's not a bad arrangement for everybody.
So you're saying basically the one-state solution is the situation that Israel and the Palestinians are living already.
Yes, first of all, within the green line, definitely. Okay, we're living it's one kind of a one-state solution. The issue is, of course, the demography, but also that can be taken care of, like in the federation. So. There are many other issues to consider, among them the economical situation, which would be terrible for the Palestinians in the two-state scenario, and that would not contribute to security. So I don't think he looked at all the aspects, and he was guided by fear more than rationality.
Any upside from the region for the end of this report?
Yes, very, very much so. The discussions we had with Lebanon, or the almost fight we had with Lebanon over the delineation of the economical borders with regard to the natural gas drilling is coming to a close, and apparently the American mediator has found a way to square the circle and get both sides to sit together and share the natural gas as it should be. and that's a good thing.
An upside while happens when both sides can draw an easily clear line and border.
A clear line in the border. It's unfortunately only in the Mediterranean at this time, but there are still remain a few other border lines to be drawn. So that's the challenge ahead of us.
People that want to be part of identity, want to be part of the federation, they want to be part of the dialogue regarding that.
Either directly to me, Emanuel Shahaf, on Facebook, or Identity, the Quest for Israel's Future, or the Federation Movement.
Emanuel Shahaf, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.